guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the third episode on the Porsche 924, the £500 Porsche 924. In the last two episodes we managed to get this thing running and driving, and it looks in pretty good shape. I mean it's rough looking, but rust wise it's pretty good, and everything's basically there to make a good car. There's a few bits that I need to source, which I have sourced in this gold one here. This is our parts car. In the last video on this I managed to get this running. I don't think it's going to drive. The brakes are shot and I've got no clutch. That when I push the clutch pedal it just stays down. I think it's completely seized, but there's some good parts on here. I need the alternator and quite a lot of the trim pieces on it. We've got to get the brakes working properly on this. I've been trying. I need to get someone else here to help me bleed them, or like maybe I can buy one of those systems that bleeds them, but it should be roadworthy. I think there's a load of brake pipes that need changing. It needs the alternator from this gold one so it can actually charge itself and rev up. And yeah, I think it just needs a good service, and obviously paintwork. I kind of like the look of driving around the one that looks like a mess, but it will look nice in guards red. They always look good in guards red. I've got a decent set of turbo wheels on this one down there, which I might take off this one. There's a lot of good parts on this gold one. There's a lot of good parts. Also, I managed to get it inside, which is obviously with the weather at the moment, and it's a great thing to be able to get this inside. But yeah, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the alternator off of this gold one, put it on this one, and make sure it works. I'm pretty sure it works because we ran this one. There's a bit of a weird whirring noise coming from here, which worries me, which makes me think maybe it's the torque tube, but if it is, I've got a spare one. So, alright, let's get to it. Alright, it's time to get the alternator off this one. It's so damp around here that this thing's actually got little mushrooms growing underneath it. Here's the alternator we need. Going to loosen the bolts from the bottom and the ones from the top, and we should just slide that right out of there. One thing on the alternator from the gold one that I haven't got on the red one is this cooling channel. Goes on the back of the alternator like this and sucks in cold air down this little funnel here to keep the back of the alternator cool. So we're going to put that on the new one, put that back on here, and I just want to show you just how nice some of these bolts are that came out of this. They look like new. This one compared to the other one, I'm going to reuse those bolts instead because they're much nicer looking. Yeah, apart from that, looks exactly the same, spins nice and freely. Yeah, let's get it on the other car. Alright, so that looks good. The belt's nice and tight, all the wires are in the right places. Yeah, let's fire this up and see if that works now. So I bought this one can of Guards Red just to see if the colour match is any good. I know the rest of the paint on this car has faded so bad. I just want to see, because this wing's pretty much ready for paint anyway. I'm just going to see what it looks like. It wasn't very expensive, this can, and if it's a good match then I'll go and get a load more of it. So the base coat I put on there is dried. Really good finish, ready for some lacquer. The match is pretty good, I think. The basically I want to try and save this bonnet. I know it looks really bad. Actually, the lacquer, it hasn't faded that badly, the lacquer. It's just, this is all T-cut, all this white stuff. And in the middle you can sort of see what it will look like. Someone T-cut it a bit. They didn't do a great job. Basically, I want to stand that all back, flatten it, and see what it looks like. This obviously needs painted, this whole front end. This is a completely different colour here. But the match isn't atrocious. I'll be painting this and this. Basically, what we're looking at is the match between here and here. And to be honest, it looks pretty good. I think with some lacquer on this, it will go a bit of a deeper colour, which then it will match that a bit better. This door, I think the lacquer on that has gone too far to salvage, but the match is pretty good, especially with up here. I think I can salvage the roof because the roof hasn't faded that badly. The only thing that worries me is if I paint everything around here, apart from the bonnet, then the bonnet's going to stand out like an absolute sore thumb. Just see if we can get this in any gears. We're in the hot in the temperature, apparently. Yeah, the brakes work on the second pump. The initial one doesn't do anything. We are right up on the temperature. We've got second gear. Right, the temperature is actually rising, so I think that might actually be that hot. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. We overheated. We overheated big time. Alright, so we've definitely popped off a coolant line somewhere. Damn, that's hot. Giving this thing a nice steam clean though, isn't it? Oh, look there. That coolant hose has just completely exploded. Wow. Okay, that's not good. Alright, I'm gonna have to push this back. Unfortunately, it's just me here. Alright, so there's a few reasons why this thing could have overheated. The first reason is that the water pump might not be pumping water, so it might just be all sitting in the engine. The other thing is that the fans aren't kicking in, although I'm pretty sure I heard them. They weren't very loud though, so it didn't sound like it was that one that was spinning. It sounded like it was a different one. It could have been, I don't know. The only way to really know is to put a new pipe on there, fill it back up and see if we can see it flowing. Or if we can't see any water flowing around the system, then that'll be the pump. Otherwise, the thermostat could be blocked. All sort of things like that. I don't know where the thermostat is in these. Imagine it's in there. Yeah, alright. Well, let's swap that pipe over, fill it back up with water and see what happens. At least we know the temperature gauge works. Alright, so the Porsche is back in the workshop after my eventful little journey up the road. It's not cooling itself down. I think the fan isn't kicking in, because I did have it running in here for about half an hour, and the temperature gauge was right in the middle, and when I turned it off I could hear the fan going. For some reason now the fan isn't running. But unfortunately, even after this nice bit of paint, I think I'm going to sell this car. It's not that it's too much work. It probably is. It's really a very doable project. It's rust free. It's got loads of new bits on it. It's very straight. There's no real dents or dings in it anywhere. It just needs a bit of paint and just lots of time. And I could definitely do this. And I'm looking for a project to sort of do over the winter. But for me, if I was going to do it, it would be a 944. I do like these cars, but I've just never ever been a big fan of the fuel systems on them. And I mean, one thing I've always wanted to do is put bike carbs on them, but I've just never been a huge fan of the engines in these cars. They are fun to drive, but they're just, I don't know, they're just not for me. So there is a 944 coming up at auction in a couple of weeks, and I kind of want to bid on it, and so I'm going to put this up for sale so that I can get it in here, because obviously it's dark now at this time of night. I mean, it's only about 4 o'clock here, so whatever I work on, it needs to be in here. And for me, my winter project, although I could do this quite easily, it's not going to be this. So I'm going to put this up for sale. I'm going to put the gold one outside up for sale as well. Maybe as a pair, or maybe separately. So if anyone out here wants a project, I don't know what I'm going to sell it for, probably about £1,000, and the other one about 500 quid maybe, just for the bits. So let me know. It's a bit of a shame, but we did take a non-running Porsche 924 and get it running and driving and working pretty good. The brakes are working now, so not a lot of work left to do on this for the next person. Just mainly cosmetic stuff, and I'm sure there'll be a few surprises down the road, because there always is. Unfortunately, I think that's where I'm going to end this video. Huge thank you to everyone watching, and if you want a project, let me know. And stay tuned, because there's going to be a new project in this garage. I'm not sure what it is yet. Hoping it'll be a 944, but it could be anything. Literally could be anything. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.